to Coursename Dev. In today's video, we are going to look at how you can integrate an STK push to your site. So, by the end of this video, we are going to look at this is how to implement it, the front end. We have the Daraja here, and we have the actual codes which we are going to look at. So, with no much ado, let us test if it is working. It's supposed to start by 254 like that, and then we can push like that, and you can see success. And on my phone, it is supposed to bring the STK push, that one. I'm going to give you the screenshot of the same, and it will show success and or cancel or invalid timeout. So the requirements, first of all, let us look at the requirements for the integration of this STK push. As you can see here, this is a production app. This is not using the Daraja Sandbox. It is using the actual production, as you will see in few minutes in the actual codes. As you can see here, we are learning it as a localhost. So the first thing that you need to do is to come to your Daraja account and create. As you can see here, we have the sandbox here. But for production apps, you need to come here to go live like that. You need to have applied for the same. So you need to have a shortcode which you are going to insert here. You will be given, or Safaricom will provide you with the organization name and M-Pesa username here. Then you will just proceed and you will enter the OTP, and it will give you the credentials like this, but in here it will be production, which you are going to use it in your backend to integrate this payment. So let us see the actual code. I am going to explain it step by step. So this is VS Code, the updated version, and this is the front end here. As you can see here, we have the title here and we have the body here. As you can see, these are the information that you find them in here. This is the titles and so on like that. So first of all, what you need to integrate is the environments. This is not the actual, as you can see, they are just typos. In your virtual environment, you need to have the consumer key. We are going to insert it here. We have the consumer secret, insert it here, and we have the environment where it is production. We have the shortcode and the shortcode here, but this one is express. We have this, I worked on the buy goods, that means it is the till. We have the passkeys here, and we have the callback URLs here. When you open Daraja here, these are the information that you will find them in this card. We have the consumer key, the secret, the passkey, the shortcode, and in here we will have the passkey. It will be here, and we have the shortcode. It will be provided in your production portal there. You have the callbacks. This is where you will store your backend or your functions to perform the activity. So in my front end here, as you can see here, we have the form here, the number here, and the amount. The amount is fixed to be 250 because of my backend. My backend is I have set it to be 250 max, the amount. As you can see here, we have the entry fee here. This is just a script. Obviously, most majority of the time you will not use the script. You will use maybe something like Python or something like PHP to integrate this one. Or sometimes you can use Django. Django, I think it is the best one. But the backend, majority of the people will tell you that the backend needs to be either PHP or Python. But for this example, I used JS, as you can see here. That is JavaScript. So let us go one by one to understand how the functions work. So we have the first here, the first function here. It is the index. The first thing after requesting, it will load in your index. As you can see here, we have the start STK push function. This is when you just click on the send button, it will call the start STK push function, and it will perform all this. Like, it will create an ID, as you can see here on our Frontend. Let us insert. Yeah, I have changed, but I will give you a screenshot here. But it is supposed, because I have changed the Frontend for privacy, this one I have added. You need to add your callbacks here, the actual callbacks. So this is the start HTTPS function. So I have the functions here. Check. This is the function that will check the status of of the message. Either it is successful, or either the user have failed to enter the pin, and all those things. So we have all these codes. You can process the STK query function here. We have the send. This is after the account have been created. So, but the most important part is the STK push here. This is the part where it will request the STK push. Like, for example, in this function, this generates the timestamp. Ensure that the format is +254, this one function. If the phone has an existing payment, it will hold, or it will not request the same, and then this will initiate. If all these functions are positive, that means it you have passed all those functions or requirements, it will initiate this STK push. Then we have the query.js. As you can see, it have a timestamp also, and query. This is the query status. It will check the status of that transaction or request. This is the auth. As you can see here, it is using the production link api.safaricom.co.ke. If it was in the sandbox, it will be sandbox.safaricom.co.ke. This is the function that authenticates the query of the request to push the STK push. We have the manual here. This is where the user have failed to send the STK push, and then you want the user to go to the SIM toolkit or M-Pesa app to commence the payment. Then it will check the payment in the transaction. Like for example, this is how maybe e-citizen performs. When you pay, then it will check the payment if it is completed. Create user, it is not important in this tutorial. Then we have the callbacks here. Like for example, if you commence a transaction and the status is a sent successfully, like as you can see on your screen right now, this when the user maybe cancels or enters long pin or enters actual pins, and the system actually receive the money. This is the callbacks, where Safaricom will communicate with your code and tell the code that the transaction is successful, then proceed to the next step. Or the transaction is not successful, like for example the user have insufficient funds, etc. And you can see here you have the M-Pesa callbacks here, and you can see because Safaricom, if the transaction is successful, it should return zero, like this one here, the zero here. Any other number means that the request was not successful. So you can see here, if the request code is not zero, then the status have failed. And you can see here, if it is zero, it is successful on the first part. So when integrating this one, now after maybe the user is using the manual pay, and the user pays maybe less, you are supposed to pay maybe 100 bob, then user pays 2 bob, or the same. Now you need to come and verify the amount is the same as the one that have been deducted. If it is not the same as mine is entry fee, because I'm using constant here, that means that the status should have been a fail. So the user still is deducted the amount, but the status, since you are offering this service at a certain amount, that means that you have to set this transaction as failed. Here, as you can see here, if your transaction is complete, the amount is the same, and the user have inserted the pin, then you have to mark the status as complete, and then you proceed to what the service. Maybe you are offering a service, maybe for example you are selling a book, then the transactions happen, then the user need to access the book. Now this is the callback. I think I have explained it very well. Also, we have this STK messages here. This is the friendly versions of the callbacks. Since it will say that Daraja a very nice callback, you need to customize your system to notify the user the actual error. Like for example, user cancelled by the user, and so on. You can see that user cancelled, you cancelled the payment, no. So insufficient balance, invalid pin, timeout, maybe the subscriber is not on the network, request rejected, STK query error, and you have the missing metadata. This is a case where maybe the amount is long. Like I was said earlier, you find that the user paid 3 bob instead of 30 bob. So you must verify that the amount has been mismatched or something of the kind. So that is all. All the other ones are for them query to the email. I'm also going to create a tutorial of the automatic email sending. Like for example, a user create an account, then you find that you need to send the query to the user, notifying that the account is ready, maybe a password reset, and so on and so on. So that is how you integrate the payment using the Daraja Lipa na Mpesa STK Push credentials. So remember, you have to set your credentials in the virtual environment, and you send them in your backend, and remember not to send them in your frontend for the system to work well. And with that, you can call it done. All this I have explained. We have the manual, reference, handle C2B confirmation, and we have auth here, the auth which verifies the token, and we have the query. This is to verify the query, generate timestamp, and get the status of the query. Yeah. So thank you for watching. If you have any question, remember to drop them in the comment section. I will see you in the next one. Bye.